Hello, my name is Dylan Page. Welcome, thanks for coming to my presentation. We'll jump into it. Actually, the first thing I want you guys to know is when you see this presentation title, I want you to try and remember the thoughts that come across your mind, all except the first one, which I'll explain here in just a moment. We need more babies. First thought you guys are thinking, this dude's totally Mormon, we're in Utah. You're right, has actually nothing to do with the presentation, but as funny as it is, I thought I would own it outright. But yeah, just keep those thoughts in the back of your mind that you first have for the next couple of slides. Bear with me. So first one, this is my daughter Amelia. This was kind of the drive behind the presentation. I've always been super unsure about kids. I was always super awkward with them. Didn't know how much I'd love it until I had my own. So yeah, this is my beautiful mini-me. As you can tell, she's Robin Hood. Just kidding. She's Little Red Riding Hood. It was for Halloween just last month. Her birthday is this month. She turns 1. We're super excited. I've been getting ready to spoil her a lot, and I love her, and she's just really great. So, yep, she's the drive behind the presentation. Really grateful for her. Okay, so now let's go back to those thoughts in the back of your mind about we need to have more babies. I'm betting you've had at least one of the 3 thoughts I'm about to put up here. And rightfully so, honestly. You either thought we're overpopulated, everything is super expensive, I don't know how I'm going to afford to have lots of kids. I've had this thought many times. I still do when I went through all this information. The world's too dangerous. So, if you've had one of these 3 thoughts and this has set your ways, I'm going to let you know right off the bat, you're a victim of fallacy. Meaning you've heard to the grapevine or you've had this thought based on some circumstance without actual evidence, factual knowledge. So you've been lied to, really, in the easiest way to put it, layman's terms. So let's go over some statistics that might help open up your opinion. The fertility rate in the United States is 1.664 as of 2021, according to the CDC. We don't have data for 2022 yet, so we're just going to pretend this is what the current number is, even though it's actually most likely around 1.5. It's gone down every year since 2007, the Great Recession, 2007, 2008. It's been on a huge decline. And you're like, well, I don't know how to measure that. I don't even know what that number means. So let's break it down for you. The fertility rate is for every childbearing woman between the proper ages of like 15 and 46. I don't remember the exact numbers for sure. It might be a little bit different than that, but they're having an average of 1.6 kids per woman. If you think about it, it takes 2 people to replace the male and the female that had the child. So it would take 2 children to replace their parents. It goes to 2.1 back through scientific data because there's a slightly higher chance you'll have a male. For the sake of the conversation, we're going to say 2. And a lot of you are thinking, okay, so if we're on a decline, it's not the worst thing in the world, right? Well, that might be my first thought I had as well. But if you think about how our economy is thriving, it's off of an increased population. Utah is booming right now because you had so many people move from other states. That's kind of like a simulation, if you will, if we continue to populate more and more and more. So if your economy declines, it might be due to a population decline because it's inevitable. If your population declines, your economy will decline. Less workers on the workforce, less people inventing things. We thrive on capitalism, consumerism, these kinds of things. Now, you're wondering, why are the resources here? Well, one of the first thoughts I ever had about, what if we had a lot of kids? Well, there's not enough resources, right? Well, I don't know if you guys know what desalination is. It's actually taking seawater or the ocean and converting it into fresh drinking water. This is actually being done all over, and it's increasing. I'm sure in the next 10 to 20 years, it'll be much like electric vehicles. One day, it's just going to be natural and normal for us. Electric vehicles are dominating the market right now. Tesla has opened up so many doorways for Ford, Chevy, all these foreign cars, new companies. Everyone's coming in. Though there are lots of struggles with chemicals that go into the batteries and things like that, the minerals, sorry. It's inevitable that this is going to help us bring down that ozone, all of the, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word, I apologize, but everything that's going to the ozone is going to help decrease that, which helps us, sustain life here on Earth. Everyone's like, well, we don't have enough land for all these people. We have aerial farming now. If you're not familiar with aerial farming, it's actually farming done, well, aerial. They have conveyor belt systems that come around and down, using UV lights and 98% less water. If you take away all this stuff, we could actually double our population, according to people like Elon Musk, Peter Zeihan, people who pay attention to population and economics and all these sustainable energy type things. Which brings me to my next point. Everything's too expensive, right? I can't afford to have kids. Look at this economy, it's crazy. What if I told you we have more excess spending money than we've ever had? It doesn't feel like it because along with our technology increases, we've had more things to spend money on that we might not realize or think of as being excessive. We don't need it. Around the same time of the Great Recession, in 2007, 2008, a really big thing came out. Smartphones. Though this isn't the newest, latest, and greatest iPhone, it's the best picture I could find, and it helps emphasize the essential things we don't need. Do we need an Apple Pencil? Not unless you're using it every single day of your life for work. So maybe there's some people that need an iPad every day. You're probably thinking, well, this only contributes to a few $1,000s. This isn't going to make the giant impact that would make me want to have kids. You're right, it's the daily decisions we make. Now just start thinking about places you go daily. You might not realize you go every other day, how much money you spend. Here's some popular ones I thought for Utah. Soda is gigantic in Utah, as you all know. Who hasn't been to a Swig, got an XL drink, bought their friend one, got some cookies, and then like, hey, how did I just spend $10 on soda and cookies? Clash of Clans, obviously not maybe huge nowadays, but just think of video games. People spend money on cosmetic skins that aren't even real. Clothing that's not real. It is insane. People spend this daily. Starbucks, $5 to $7 for a coffee. And people do that every single day when they could go to Maverick and get them for $1. But if you're like me and go to Maverick, you go in and get maybe like a candy bar or something on the road, and you end up, 2 for $5 on energy drinks, and here's a turkey on sale for $1, and you walk out spending $10 to $12. I put Stance up here because I am a sock junkie. I have a pair of Harry Potter Stance socks on right now, and they range from $10 to $20. Excess money, guys. We don't need to be spending this stuff. I'm not saying you can't, you shouldn't. I'm just saying think about that and maybe why it contributes to you think everything is too expensive nowadays. This one's my favorite because before we had kids, I had thought the world was getting crazy, and I'm like, man, raising kids nowadays is so scary, and I still kind of have that thought, but to what extent, after seeing this, I'm not sure. What if I told you that's not true? This is our violent crime rate since 1990 to current in the 100,000s. It has dropped dramatic, as you can see. And I think the reason we don't think of it that way is because our media's gotten so much better. Social media, the news, either they've gotten better or they're really good at emphasizing things, so they get the money by having people watch it. So that's something to think about. And the reason I am showing all this stuff with you guys is because I'm not the crazy Mormon dude. It's like, you need to go have more kids. All I want to do is leave you with the thought of considering having more kids. One, because it's amazing. I love it. I never thought I would. Kids scared the heck out of me. And two, it actually is going to benefit the economy. We're going to keep America growing, the world growing. Right now, China is estimated in 50 years to have half the population because they don't actually have a fertility rate. They have a death rate. And if anyone's interested in actual hard facts on all this stuff, I have some resources here, but I also have 20 or 30 references I've found over time, because this is a personal hobby of mine, something I became really interested in since I had my daughter. So yeah, I just want you guys to walk out here thinking, maybe it is doable. Maybe I can have more kids. Maybe I can't, just have to have one. Maybe I'll have 2. And if you've thought that thought process, I've accomplished my job. So yeah. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching.